Hello, everybody. How is it going? All right, we have Notion stream number 2, and I'm super excited. This one is public too, so we should have a little more chat going back and forth. So I gotta pay attention to all that and keep you all up to date. Glad to see it's working. I had trouble with the earlier version of the stream, but we should be good to go. All right, I'm gonna tweet it out also. Then we're going to just get started here in a moment. Say hello in the chat and let me know what you are using Notion for, because actually that's one of the things I'm most curious about is just figuring out what kind of stuff we should build with Notion that people would want to use, as opposed to I've got very specific use cases usually. All right, I'm going to jump right in. That is not right. Okay, 1 second. Hold on a moment. There we go. I knew I was missing something. Wouldn't be live if I wasn't messing up something, so. How's that looking? I can do dark mode. It's a little bright still. This new iPad is so bright, I have to turn it even lower than I'm used to. Oh, Joey's saying it's quiet. How about now? There we go. How about that? Is that better? I just turned it up like 20%. Sorry, I forget that I have it lowered on here because I usually end up blasting. Let me know if I should turn it up a little bit more again. All right, let me wipe this off real quick too. Thanks everybody for leaving comments. That's helpful. All right. That is always the worst. I think yesterday when I did the first Notion stream, I was muted for the first 5 minutes straight, and so I restarted it. So that is always good. And you can see my priorities here lately. I've been watching Game of Thrones. All right, we are going to dig in to the Notion API today because there's so much to do with this, and it's just a very popular tool, and their API makes it a lot more accessible, and they don't have good shortcut support. So instead, we can build our own, which is what's very cool about shortcuts. And I will say, I'm probably going to be revealing my API key. So I'm pretty sure technically people could be adding to my content calendar, so please don't. But that's fine. I don't really mind. I assume nobody's going to copy it down unless you're monsters. But let's dig into this. It is still like the slightest bit blurry. That might be the best we can get. Okay. So last time, what we ended up doing was building a database call. So we wanted to find all of the types of databases that you have in your dictionary or in your Notion collection, and then you can grab the ID out. And this was being used to fill out a second shortcut where we have different databases that we want to pick from, and then we pull out a different page from it. So let me just do this again real quick. Run the shortcut. I've given the bot in Notion access to both of these tables that I have in here. And let me just pull it up too. I don't have it on my home screen right now because I'm not totally sure how I'm going to use it. I got really into, just to recap how I was using it before, I got really into like a whole to-do system and everything, and then it just 100% collapsed, and I couldn't use it anymore. And so I just gave up entirely and moved back to what I was using before, but that's okay. So then I put one thing that I'm considering using this for is just tracking all of the stuff that I post. Yeah, you can see back when I was using this. And by like posting anytime I put a new article out into here, I can link this all together, and then I'm not going back and forth trying to figure out like what did I even do? Because I have It's very interesting sometimes going back and just looking at, there's so many tiny little blog posts and things like that. But what we did in this, I think it's just this one. We specifically looked for any posts that have a link in them. So this field here, link, I wanted to make sure, basically you can see that I have a bunch of empty information in here, but then there's actually like tons of posts that are actually properly filled out. So this one just only looks at the real posts that I've actually published in here. It would basically be the same as doing something like a filter here. I actually really I don't like building these on iPad. It's pretty terrible compared to the web version, so I'm not going to try to do that. But from there, I can basically run this shortcut, pull out of my content tracker all of those different posts. And then here, what it's actually showing is the ID. And so what it's going to do then is create the link back into that Notion page. So here, allow untrusted shortcuts video. It'll open directly into that page. So this is just a really good way, if you have a full Notion database, to jump right into a piece of content. This would be an action in shortcuts that would just be get page. And instead I have to do a full entire, like, look at this. We formatted all of this data into JSON and then make a web request going out to their API. So this is like build your own shortcuts, build your own actions for shortcuts. So it's very meta and very deep, but this is going to be fun too because we can do a lot of advanced stuff. And then the last one, the shortcut down here, is a lot of the same things, but we're creating a new page by the title. So this data is all in here. This is a completely excessive data structure for Notion, but the title we fill in here, and then this will create a new page and move on. And then I think it will also, it opens back into that page. So we can just say, in the content tracker, I'm doing Notion member stream number 2. And then it creates that. And I haven't filled out any of this other data. All right, I'm gonna pause just for a split second so anybody can breathe and figure out what I was just even, like, wrap your head around that for a moment. But basically now what we're gonna try to do is figure out how to post with a piece of content type, or these are different properties, basically, not necessarily just that type, but I'm going to look in and find how to format data in these structures. And then we're going to walk through that and start creating new content. So I will basically be able to post a page and in shortcuts be able to select the different status options. I'm not going to do every one just because I like to go way too in depth and add like, oh, what's the purpose of this? Is it trying to just be a useful shortcut for people, or I don't know. That's all kind of specific to how I'm creating content around shortcuts. So I don't want to get too meta about shortcuts, content about shortcuts, but something also that might be interesting is I think I didn't figure out how to sort by date, and I was struggling with that just because it's hard to figure out in a live stream sometimes. And then I don't think I'll do linked data because that's going to be, you have to make a different query to pull all of these pages and then get your answers out. So that's going to be a lot too. Also, and just so if anybody wants to like literally build along with me, these shortcuts are available through my membership thing and also the past stream where we went and built this. So I don't think I have this pulled up yet, but just here on my website, you can sign up and get, this is got the live stream there. And then here, we got the 3 shortcuts there. So you can just grab these. Actually, it'll open into the catalog. And then if you're not a member, this will say sign up for the membership, and then you can get it here. So that's how you can grab this and literally build along with us. And you might have to recreate some of it for your own database, but let me just pull into, I'll just do one sample version. Oh gosh, going wild with the swipes here. Oh yeah, I'm I put in like 300 shortcuts for my Airtable the other day, so I've been trying to clean this all up, but it takes me like weeks. Okay, wait. I'm gonna grant access here on the desktop actually, which is required. What can you all see? Oh, is it showing you both my desktops? That's not supposed to be happening. There it is. Primary display. Get rid of Twitter. Get rid of Stream Deck. Okay. Okay, here we go. So there's that. Whoops. I don't know why I just put in an old comment. So here in Notion database, why don't we do favorite mode confuses me. I'm gonna create another shortcuts catalog thing. I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually do this in Notion or not, but this is the way you do it. Once you've created that integration, you can just give it access. So this should, let me see now. Switch back to the iPad. If we run this, why is that not working? Okay, I might not. I didn't actually plan ahead to do this part, so why don't I just jump into the actual building part? Okay, we were going to build. I'm not going to go off of that website one. I'm going to go back to the content tracker. So here, we're going to look at this. And I created a note for all of this. Here's the API stuff. Let me just clear my tabs. So what we were doing last time is looking through here and finding the database. I think it's page objects. So properties is one of the things. This, I'm not honestly a giant fan of their information here. Like this is what we were building. This is that really deep one where I showed you the title. That information is where we had to like fill in our information. So this is actually helpful. This is a rich text one. That's not what I'm going to be doing. Number select property. I think that's the one. Multiple select. What did I have? Let's do type because that seems easiest. Content pillar, product reviews. This is not even relevant information actually, but okay, I'm just going to do that one. All right. So let me see. I'm going to probably, let me just pull this into another window and check it again. Sorry, I'm just looking at these to see which one I want to duplicate to make sure we have the right property. I think we just need to open it. Because what we were doing with the open was really making a pull request to grab a different page. So let me duplicate this. Shortcuts is just taking its sweet time, as it likes to. I forgot to say hi to Craig and Lawrence, is it? I can't remember. One Tech Mine, yeah. Okay, nice. Filtering UI is clunky. And nice to see you, Max. Okay, shortcuts is just 100% frozen. I thought this is 14.6. It's supposed to be, they say for shortcuts is faster, but maybe not if you have 800 of them. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to probably delete most of this. Actually, I think I see what we need. That properties part. So I'm just getting rid of all of this because it's not needed right now. And then the other thing is, I showed this last time. Oh yeah, I have items in range in here, but I don't actually want all of the data. I'm going to work on just one piece of data by just getting the first item that comes back from the API. So I might actually have to test this because it could be blank data. Let me just run it. Then I was showing last time the JSON app can make this data look a lot prettier while we're working on it. I'm looking for just what the name of this post is. Where'd you go? It might be blank. I probably did that. Okay, let me test. Or what's the... Oh, there it is. NFC tags. That's going to be the wrong type of URL. Notion doesn't like to scroll nicely either. What is going on? Man, I'm having bad luck with bugs right now. I literally can't even swipe. And there's another one. That always happens to me. Safari replaces the app you're using with the handoff window. Okay. Let me get rid of that data. Okay, it should pull this link next time. Member stream 4. There's the proper YouTube URL. Okay, so we're working off that. Oh my God. Did you see that? That's just going entirely the opposite direction from where I'm swiping. Notion, what the heck? Oh, jeez. Okay, this is the one we're going off. Let's add in a product review. I'm gonna also just actually rebuild this to stop being as annoying so it doesn't ask me every time. Set database ID to I'm like filling in this so it extracts this data straight out. So it should just go right away now. Okay, so we got that member stream. Looking through this chunk of data, I'm looking for the property or the type. Where'd it go? Product reviews. There it is. So this is the data we're gonna have to recreate. I'm gonna pull this out, stick it in a comment. So I'm going to have to build this data structure, and then I'm also going to create a selection tool for those different types. So I know that the values that we were just showing before was like product reviews, content pillar, and weekly flow. So this is like the front end of shortcuts. Product reviews, content pillar. And so this is all spelled exactly the same to make sure it'll actually work into the API. And then this will be the thing in shortcuts. This is sort of the front end of shortcuts for the API where I'm like, which type of content is this? And then my dictionary that's named, or wait, type itself is another dictionary there. So I got to do type. I don't remember if I have to put in type select, but we can just try it. That's the lovely thing about shortcuts, is just testing the data over and over again. So I'm creating a secondary dictionary here where I put in type select, or actually, this is very intense stuff. So I covered some of this last time, but we have to create our own structure of data inside of shortcuts. So here, that select with multiple pieces of information in it again. Like Notion wants you to find the type, which is a select. And so if it's a select, then it's going to require more data. And I'm going to build I'm going to basically build that inner dictionary up here and just do name as product reviews. Or actually, the name is the chosen item, because it could be one of those three. And so basically we're defining that inner dictionary and then working out from there. So like the name of it is that, and then I need to stick that in this other dictionary. So I do set dictionary value, set select to, then we're going to go and grab that dictionary. This is the name. And then this is the type dictionary. I like to just name them so it's a little clearer. Like that one's right there. And then down into type, we set, set the dictionary value of type. I gotta double check this now, I guess. Yeah, okay. So this is like the main cell that we're filling out. So set type to this dictionary, which is really the select dictionary. Some of these names are not the best, especially because these are only like temporary holders. It can kind of make it almost more confusing. But let me see. If we run through this, our data should look similar now. Type select. It's not as, here, let me do the JSON. Or whoops. Prettify. Oops. I'm not sure why that hasn't filled out properly. Sometimes the comment being there can just be weird. Running this again. Just getting the first value. The type is a select. Yeah, so it looks like it should work. If I pass this in, why don't we test it? And let me go back to the other version of this shortcut. Need to get all the properties. I probably needed that page name. I'm trying to remember what I did last time now. Okay, those were letting me, yeah, okay. I pulled out the title of it so I could actually select a property properly. So I probably shouldn't have deleted all of that, but now I'm trying to think back. Okay, so what is the actual process of this? Is picking a page and then it's going through and applying it. So really, what we did here, I should probably have kept, and then I'm gonna apply an update to this post. Although, This would be a way to update it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have actually started with a new page. Because then I would be passing this in ahead of time. I think that still works though. Let me just try it. I can still do a patch. That's a good lesson for how shortcuts works. Okay. So basically we have now pulled one page in its ID there. And we want to create a new API call underneath. I probably will just recreate this, but I'll save it for later just for now. Do the interesting part now. So let's go back to their data. API for reference. And I'm just going to be learning this along with you guys. So database objects, it's a page object, update page properties. There we go. I don't like that they don't give examples. That's one of the worst parts. Is Airtables is so good because it just gives you real examples. There's, see, like that line up there is the most important part. So we've been making requests to the database using a query, but now we're going to actually have to do that unique page. So down here, I change this to pages. Then really, the property is, I think this is the ID right there. Oh yeah, page ID, I already saved it, nice. Smart Matthew last time. Then we can get pages from here. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, okay. So we're going to get the contents of the URL again. Change this to the new URL. And this is going to be a patch now, I believe. Yeah, patch. Hello. And then the file is going to be the data, which is, I'm going to do a new one. Just put this out here for now, even though this isn't actually, I guess actually that dictionary might be the right one. But let's just do this as kind of a placeholder, get dictionary from input. I'm going to set this to new data or patch data, because we're not a patch versus a post, or I'm not sure if Notion allows it. A put would entirely replace this page with a new one, versus patch is you're like fixing something on the current page. It's a very, nerds have their terminology. So then the dictionary, just like we were doing up above the API call, here is like the filter and the data. I guess I really just need to create properties as one dictionary and then put in the properties. Was that a dictionary? Yes, okay. Could put, okay, page property values. Must conform to the database schema. Properties not set will not be changed. Okay, I think we're actually like super close already, which is cool. Set dictionary value. So now I'm going to put this type data into that. So set properties. The one thing that I had an issue with last time, and we could run into right now, is that since I'm only updating one piece of data, sometimes APIs are expecting multiple, and so like it'll fail because of the way shortcuts accidentally flattens it down into just like one piece of data. And so it's like it can just create weird errors. And I was running into that a bunch last time, but let's just see. I should be able to, let me pull it up on the side too. So maybe we might be able to see it happen in real time, which is always cool. It has product reviews now. Why don't I change it? So I'm pulling that post, setting weekly flow, and it should patch it. It might not do it in real time. Let me see if I go back. Well, it didn't work. It says it worked. Let me see. It could be a thing too where it isn't just refreshed in this page. This is the beauty of doing it live, is we get to debug whether or not it actually worked, which isn't always clear. Okay, let me do content pillar. No, that still says it. Product reviews, type. Huh. Maybe it's, I did set it as like an inner dictionary and it doesn't actually look like it's one. Or the type maybe is part of another value. Properties. No, that should have been fine. It's also like making a successful request. That's why I'm curious why this didn't work. That's the ID. That's the member stream 4 still. Interesting. Well, this is one of the things of doing databases or database calls like this, is it's not always exactly clear what's going on. Containing the page object on success. It's always helpful to just look at your data somewhere else. Let me do, show me that data. I bet I didn't put the data actually in. Type, 2 keys, select. No, that one's content pillar. No, that should be good. Do I need to give it an ID? That might be the case. All right, let's find out. Property. I can use either the name or ID. It says right here. Name of it as it appears. We'll only update the page if it exists, basically. Well, that's cheap. Let me try this again. It's option. Ooh. Let me copy this over. That doesn't look exactly like how ours was. Because it was type select. Like why am I doing it twice? Let me put it in here. Yeah, why do I have to declare the type? Okay, let me try that. Set the select to, the name is that. I might be making this more complicated by, let me just do it directly in here. The name is the chosen item. So now I'm basically just building that data directly into the dictionary. It still really shouldn't be necessary because it did look correct earlier. Set the properties to, this might be it, to that type. Pages/page ID. Let me double check this. Interesting. Yep, let's just try it again. I'm not sure why it's not patching it. It doesn't seem to be behaving. It's like it's even not, it should fail if the data wasn't correct. Megan Wilson is saying, this is a tricky API. It was definitely designed by JavaScript people. Yeah, I get what they did. Like, one thing that was weird is they just made everything post requests instead of it all being in the URL, which I think was actually, it's helpful in shortcuts because otherwise we'd be encoding some of this. That's interesting. I don't know why the properties aren't updating. It should, and all, like, we're making a correct request and everything. What if I do put? I probably will just fail this time. Invalid request. Why don't we just do a post then? That might be easier. I'd have to, I don't want to entirely start over. Let me see if I can just get this real quick. I'm going to build it all directly in here. So properties, this type, and then select. Then see, this is why I don't do this, because it's just, it requires such a specific attention to like how those data structures will actually work. Okay, I'll save that data too. Make sure we know what we're doing. Oh wait, I tricked myself there. I changed it. Okay. Go back. I just don't understand because it works. Let me check the JSON again too. Or wait, how do I do this? Plain text. Ah, the name isn't working. Why is that? Did I just not do this? Okay, here we go. Not content pillar. Product reviews. That's very odd. And the data here is all correct, it looks like. Type, select, name. Let me put that side by side. This is the love of debugging. Doesn't that look exactly the same? Oh, the properties. No, that's fine. Motion, why are you being mean to me? Let me double check these docs just to see. Can I refresh this too? That would be the worst if it just wasn't up to date. Let me just check real quick on the desktop. Well, I might have to just move on from this point because if it's just not making those requests, I don't know what else to do. Patch the page ID gets it all for okay. It should return it, and it returns the whole thing. Properties in stock. Looks like I might need the IDs. Or no. Yeah, see, they just do in stock checkbox true. Maybe the select one that I picked was just happened to be harder. Multi-select there. That's also that's where I would run into issues if I had only picked one selection. Date properties. That's odd. It's like I don't think I've ever had a situation where I was making a successful request that just didn't do anything. Let's move on then to just the post version, and I should be able to do this pretty quickly. Oop, that's the same one. I think it would just be in here. Oh, I don't like that that's... Oh, properties. Is it title? Okay. Type text. Contents, okay. Sorry, I'm re-examining this one to make sure we're doing the right kind of thing. The parent there. Let me go back to creating a page. Keys are the names or IDs of the property. Okay. That is not a helpful example. So I believe I'll be adding more properties. I don't know how this works without this being... I feel like I somehow tricked this into actually working. Because this title doesn't seem like it should be working based off of how this is built. But it might have just figured it out. Maybe I looked out there. Yeah, that's odd. Like, I don't understand how this works because there should basically right here, this title thing looks like it needs to have another level. Maybe it's because it's the database object. Hold on, page object. If parent type, then the only valid key is title. Maybe that's something. Maybe I need the page ID. Okay, maybe that's what was happening before. If the parent, or if page ID... No, okay. There is no parent type. They do make this confusing. It's like assuming that I'm telling you which parent it is. Interesting. That might have been the solution to the other thing, but I think we should just still create I really, really wish they had an example of this one right here. Okay, let's just try some stuff. Let's create a new dictionary in here for these types. I'll copy over these lists. See, like it needed, this last one doesn't have that top level of the title thing. So that's why I might have lucked out with that one working and this one wouldn't. Like, see, I think I need to do name, or what are these called? Project name. Is that capitalized? No. So now I'm going to set project name to that data. So those, I'm creating a new properties dictionary here, basically. Chosen item. And this dictionary back up above to keep it going. All right, let's see if this works. Test. Go pick the content pillar. And something broke. Okay, let me see. I definitely have just been totally screwing with this thing. Let's see what's coming out of the end of this. I just realized I'm working on the live page and I didn't change the shortcut. Project name.id should be defined. Instead was undefined. Project name should be defined. Huh. That's in the database. Properties are, I think I'm going to do these directly in here again. So what was that error? Fix one. Interesting that there's two. Project name.id. They really don't make this easy on you. body properties. See, I'm looking title. I think that's what's hard is the project ID is separate from the actual page. So the proper okay, I'm getting there. Sorry, this took me a moment here. Okay. So the page I see. Okay. This is where the ID goes. Wait a second. I'm not creating a page. I'm creating a page though. I think I'm looking at this wrong. Okay. Let me back up a second. Create a page. There we go. A page parent. Properties children. Okay, the database parents, that's all working. Property values of this page. The keys are the names and the IDs of the property. Okay, so that makes sense. And let me go back to here now. Yeah, it's weird that each page property value contains following keys. It must contain a key with the value of type. Okay, that might have been what I was doing. Let me go back to that other one real quick. I did get rid of this. Type select. Let's see if this one works again. Sorry about the issue. Notion, Adam is asking if they've given any indication that they might be doing support in the future. I do not know, and I kind of doubt it. They don't seem to be super like intense on this kind of stuff. Although maybe that's like I could show them through this that it can be pretty intense to do this manually. Okay, let me double check this. I don't remember what I just clicked. It's still just so odd that that is just not failing. And it's not updating either. Like it doesn't give me any clue as to why it's not working. Maybe let me put in the ID. That could be part of it. Where'd you go? Down here. It still didn't work. I wonder if they're like, I don't know. I could almost somehow imagine that their API just has a bug, but like, there's a chance. It almost seems just as likely that it should invalidate this if it's not the correct type of data. I think that's what's most confusing about this. Oh wait, didn't I change this to put? No. Let me see if this is actually getting the proper ID. Sorry for all these issues. This is kind of a bummer. Yeah, that page should work. That's one of the realities of building APIs, though, is that sometimes you might just have to smash your head against it and then come back to it and get some help from them. I do feel like let me just put the page ID in here. If that did that, that would be very helpful. Content pillar still. That's just funny at a certain point. Like I'm literally hitting the exact correct page. This part is what's getting me. The properties. Name of a property as it appears in Notion. My vote is for Notion to create an API database that uses your real data, because you can always see it in Airtable is that like this should show me one example of my database parent right there, because otherwise you're just stuck. Do I have to version Notion? Yeah, like exactly Megan's saying. Airtable's API is so helpful. What is the star? They have the star and then it's not explained anywhere. Let me just try. Their name for the date they're released. What a weird. Notion dash version. I mean, it still shouldn't fail. That's like if you want to hit the old one, it sounds like. JSON API key patch data. I'm doing maybe I have to do it directly in here. Okay, let's try it. That's annoying if that's going to be it, but properties. Oh, wait, that's got to be type, I believe. Type, select, name. And this was the chosen item. Just check. Maybe building this dictionary outside of it was our downfall. I think it worked. Oh. I love it. Oh, it worked. Yeah. Woohoo. That's good. Not bad. Let me double check. Come on. Don't you do this to me. It changed. Huzzah. We did it. Okay. We made it. It took a minute. So now I can actually, okay, I've just been not talking to Mike. Now I can actually update these fields. And so the rest should be a lot easier. I will put a chapter marker at an hour into it, apparently.
Okay, weekly flow, blah, 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 gets updated. What else should we do? Should we do rich text dates? Let me see. Okay, I want to test it just one more time just to make sure. I don't trust it now. Aha, okay, we're good. Let's do purpose. The nice thing is that honestly, the reason I'm doing this is because this shortcut can now be recreated for anybody else to be able to figure out the data types. Oh yeah, I'll put in celebration. Woohoo! Thanks. Because all you'd have to do in shortcuts is make sure that like the content is named the same in here, I think is what it is. And maybe I'll try to make versions that abstract this so we don't have to like even think about it as much. But let's do another one of these now. Discoverable. This is actually great stuff. Like this is what I do every time I create a new shortcut. I'm like adding manual data like this into my Airtable database, and this is what gets filled out into custom forms on WordPress, which is generated into all of the different like details that are showing on there. So this stuff can actually help you go from like raw data to like adding that layer on top of your custom information, and then it's already finished into your database right away, as opposed to like going into your database and sitting here. Like this is literally what I was doing for Notion this is why I didn't like Notion ultimately, was because it was too slow to fill out this much information per post. Now I can just like run a shortcut and it'll even on an existing post just update it. So this is going to be actually really awesome. I always you get lost in the weeds there with like, why isn't it working even though it should be working? And then now it's like, I'm actually pumped again because we can move forward too. So here, put in the purpose. And then, select. This is easier than, I try to do the other dictionary and set dictionary value way because I think it's really confusing if you don't understand what's happening to try to build these. But you have to like really kind of grasp the data structure. Is this name? Was that it? Type content. That's right. And then this just should be that same type of content. I love doing it when it's side by side, especially. That's the best. Body validation. Select ID. All right, I did something wrong. Let's learn together. Select name. Oh, it was name. Oh, and that's one thing that happens in these dictionaries is if you like go and select this data, sometimes shortcuts just like can't remember that you were 10 levels deep. Yep, there we go. So it's almost like you need to make sure. Let me check. Hit enter to make sure it's like filled in. Yeah, so that is right. But that right there is another bug that just is like shortcuts with this level of memory, something gets lost in the process and then drops it as you go. So look, there we go, it's there. I think that's what happened earlier, and it made me look like an idiot, but it probably was actually shortcuts' fault. So I'll accept that. Weekly flow, sales. Boom. Yes, that's awesome. I love that. This is multiple select. Oh, I know that I can do that validation thing. I might have to like take a short break in a minute, and before I do that, just because I know that I'm gonna have to like dig in. I'm just gonna do the whole status thing so that I can just recreate this shortcut later. I might even rebuild this exact same shortcut for Airtable, but we'll see. This is like my whole overwrought system for like, is it at this step of the phase or what? And it didn't work at all also, but partially because I didn't have this automation built in. If I could have it like I just say, move this project into pre-production, and it makes an API request that pulls this and then updates the data for me, then I might actually do it. But we can see how this is gonna get like layers deep, but I just want to keep doing them on streams because this is like the best way for me to actually capture the realities of building an API thing and the actual joy of catching it. And I can put chapter markers in and just say like skip ahead if you need to. Blogged. Okay. What? This project. What is the status of this project? It's getting way too intense there. Let me just go in, do another one. This is actually just helpful to do the same thing 4 times because maybe you might follow by the 4th. Select. Nope, I did it wrong again. It's got to be another dictionary. Press enter to confirm it. Double check that it's the right one. That go back also doesn't work when you're in dictionaries. I get that. It's technically odd, but Ooh, I'm loving this. This is actually like
I spent like a week filling out all of this data. And the fact that you can do it from shortcuts on your phone actually can be like a game changer because it is just like you can just sit there and update a whole database with tons of information. And then you just make that API request. Like even just the fact that Notion sucks on iPad is why this is necessary because nobody wants to go clicking around these fields. And if you can just collect it all into shortcuts in one go, it's so much better. Editorial, offsite, niche, deep, quick tips. I'm definitely going to update all this data too. I do think it said the data has to exist. If the parent, let's see. Properties that are not set will remain unchanged. Let's see. Yeah, like you can't, it has to be valid data. You can't create new options, but that's still fine for this use case at least. One more, choose from list. What category is this? Dictionary to select. The name of the selection is that. Chosen item. Okay, cool. Let's do the checkbox. That was the other one that I was thinking about. I really wish this had like headers or something. Date, formula, roll up. Is it at the top? Select, multi-select, date, formula, string. What the heck? Is it just a 1? Maybe it's a... Huh. That's weird. Let me do it. If they really can't...
That'd be a bummer. Oh, there it is. A Boolean. Okay. So then this would be... I'm trying to remember how to do Booleans with shortcuts. I think you just do true or false. How you name it in the menu doesn't really matter. Is yes archived? No, still active. Archive this page. And then I think we might just need to do true or false, like literally in here. I think lowercase. I can't remember though. I do remember. This is one of those things where I remember that I had an issue with it, but I don't remember which way it went, which is always... I swear to God, in my personal life, I'm always like, no, it's definitely this way, and I remembered the exact opposite of what I needed, but that's okay. Here we go. This is Boolean, and then this is archive. That doesn't seem right. Then I press and hold on that. It looks like it might need to be capitalized, but we can test also because I think like shortcuts might visually show it as capitalized. That's like, I'm getting into my own conspiracy theory here, but okay. Content pillar, community, production phase, niche, yes, archived. It's going to say it failed. Categories should be defined. Did this one not go through? Interesting that it's... all of these worked. I bet the number... I'm just going to get rid of that one for now. That's my solution. This is not even relevant. See, now I'm working with like 4 different types, so I could easily be making it body properties type. Type.name. Weird, it's like the data just like changed under me. Maybe because I have so many. Wasn't it? Is it? Do I need like that? Type start. I think I also use like generic words, so that can't help. Oh no, these all need to be lowercase. Let's see if this goes. I bet that hopefully the archive is the only thing we have issues with now. Why? Type. I'm going to assume actually that what's actually happening is this is incorrect. And it's thinking that those things are incorrect because that all worked before. That's just not even being passed into the API. That stuff's working. Community concept and content pillar. let's put backend categories. That's why it's easy to, that's why I don't like building this all in here, is I can't test it as easily. Categories. Type. Was this, select. I'm gonna assume that didn't even work. It saved it. Nam. Let's make sure this all works before I move on to that last step again. I might even like make a secondary version of this and delete all this data just so I don't have to like mess around with it, because once you're mixing types, it's like categories is expected to be select. Type select. Oh, that's it. Sorry, I'm just running this over and over and over again. But that's honestly what I end up doing a lot. Thankfully, there's no like cost to the API really. So that all worked. Okay. Just for sake of sanity, let's make a second version. And just drop all of this. I just don't want to have to choose that every time because it's a waste of time. Well, that data is not even in there, so that makes sense. If this was just going to be a checkbox field, this is what I think it would be. So it'd be archive, checkbox, and then probably just, actually this is probably what I was doing wrong. Checkbox, checkbox. And I'm going to do it as a Boolean over here. It's still weird how it's like if it has incorrect data, it just doesn't fail the request. Okay, let me say, I think this should actually be capitalized. Nope, those both say true. That would have been confusing. It's like lagging on me now. I bet I did that data style again wrong. Actually, this is probably more helpful to look at the export of what archived means. Archive, type checkbox, checkbox false. It is lowercase. That's why I really don't like that shortcuts shows that as uppercase, because that's like not true. Oh look, it didn't even, oh no. Is that not going to validate my data? Let me do this. This might help. Checkbox. I cannot spell checkbox right on the first try. Checkbox. There we go. That probably did it. Aha. Check. Nice. That's cool. So one of the examples I've had over here on the side is Brad Frost has this whole like daily journal thing that he's doing in here. And I was like, you could fill out this whole thing without even checking it, which maybe like defeats the purpose of he's kind of like the visualization of just seeing like, oh, right here I skipped, or it's like I started skipping my workouts more over time, like that chunk or something like that. So you could use this to just go checkbox, check, check, uncheck, like yes, no, did I do this? And you're good to go. Or even like select multiple of these and then grab the checkbox and pull it back out. So that's pretty cool. We've got update a new database. I bet what we were having issues with, I'm glad I went back to that original one because that does actually work now. Being able to add a Notion page with some of that stuff is the next step, probably. I think this request I'd have to rebuild in here, though, is part of the problem as JSON instead of that file. So I think I'll do that for everybody and add the ability to also add this information in as you go. And one thing I even do is in my shortcuts version, I have a quick log and then a full detail because I don't always want to have to sit there and enter in like all 5 properties at the same time. That's why this other one where you go back and update the properties later would be super helpful. Is there any other specific types of content that people would want to see? Like a lot of these are easier when they're actually just strings. I think like dates are a little easier, start and end. Looks like, where can you see it? There. The multiple select one, I think, is going to be the issue. And I think I'm going to have to, I don't think I can do that live on air because I've ran into that issue with the selects before. And I don't want to like get hung up on a part where it's just about how shortcuts works, not about how like the API works and just like weird esoteric bugs. So I think I'm going to stop this stream for now, but I feel like actually this is a really good, just to recap in case people didn't follow along as easily because I got it stuck a couple times there. Now you can be able to get any page from any Notion database, update the information in the properties of that page by like selecting it all in shortcuts and passing that into the API. And then I'll also have one where you can create a new page, either just blank quickly or with all of this information in it as well. So pretty fun. I feel like I'm going to try to apply these to certain templates or anything like that. If you guys see him, I know that Thomas Frank has he's the one that I built my to-do list thing off of. I just like to make it possible so that you can get the Notion thing immediately and then also add to it and not have to go create your own version that matches mine exactly. But this is a cool progress thing. I think by the end of this summer, I'm going to have a full entire Notion stream set up and all of this archived back to it. So we should be good to go. But thanks for tuning in. And yeah, leave comments. I'll hang around for a couple minutes, but let me know what you guys think. And if you have any other stream requests, especially, I'm not sure. I might do a little bit more with Notion, but I might move on and go back to Airtable for a little bit too, and just release this as a summary. So awesome. It was nice hanging out with you all. Good Friday morning start. Megan, okay, cool. Glad to see. Good. Glad it's enjoyable to watch. It does get like really intense, but I think that's why, I mean, even the most intense API calls, this did only take me like 3 hours total, which is a lot of time. And obviously like what it's going to take somebody who's brand new is different, but just the fact that you can do this kind of stuff and build your own integration with Notion, like I could go to Notion and say, this is all this stuff that I want. Here's how it actually functionally works. And hopefully they could just copy it. So maybe I'll have to do a consulting gigs with Notion at some time. I met them in like 2018 and I could tell at the time they weren't going to update the iPad app and they needed an API. And so now here it is and I'm doing this. But all right, I'm going to call it here. But thanks for tuning in and I will see you all. Check on my website. By the way, you can get access to the replay of all these streams as a member. And I've got that at matthewcassinelli.com/membership. Let me actually just pull it up so you can all see. I can do it on my desktop here. So if you're in the Notion API portion, stop showing both desktops. There we go. Just up here in the menu bar, just got all the details for my membership thing. And then I've got all the history of all of the, I need to make this page shorter, but all of the archive of all of these streams that you guys can check out as well. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in and I will see you in the next stream. Let me get it off the desktop. All right. Bye everybody. See ya.